Good evening and welcome to our instructor informational panel. I'm joined today by our creative services programs, and I'm going to go through each of these programs and let them give you a little more follow-up information. This should all be supplemental to the general information sessions that we've already done. If you haven't seen those yet, please take some time, go to our website and look at the videos tab. So we'll start with our graphic design instructor, Mr. Brock Martin. Can you go ahead and just introduce yourself and your program?
Hi, I'm, like Nate said, Mr. Martin. I teach advertising art and graphic design here, and we work on the Adobe Creative Suite, which is industry standard, and work on state-of-the-line Macs that get refreshed every year. We work on a bunch of client work outside of book work and project work.
Excellent, thank you. And we're also joined by Ms. Stephanie Miglitz, our cosmetology instructor.
Hi, I'm Stephanie Miglitz. We work on all sorts of things from hair, nails, skin, and the science behind it.
And last but not least, Chef Mike Krostowski for Culinary Arts.
Hello, everybody. I'm Mike Krostowski. I'm the culinary instructor here at the Herndon Career Center, the brand new state-of-the-art culinary facility, where we learn all aspects of the hospitality industry.
Excellent. So I guess we'll start with the first question. Mr. Martin, so what are some core topics that your curriculum will cover through the course of any given school year?
So we start with the basics. We start on paper, just basic elements of design, whether it's sketching and drafting, to the layout of certain elements, and then we'll move into kind of like what I mentioned before with the Adobe Creative Suite, into Illustrator, Photoshop, InDesign. Towards the end of the second semester, I start letting them do animation and motion graphics and things like that. So we work really in everything Adobe.
Okay. Ms. Miglitz, same question to you.
So we start with orientation of your professional image, your communication for success. We move into our general science, which is your infection control, principles and practices, your general anatomy and physiology, skin structure, skin disorders and diseases, nail structure, nail disorders and diseases, properties of the hair and scalp, chemistry, electricity, hair design, scalp shampooing and conditioning, hair cutting, hair styling, chemical textures, hair coloring, skin care, hair removal, facials, nail care, manicures, pedicures, nail tips, nail wraps, and then business, like how to take all of that and make a business and make yourself successful.
Excellent, thank you. And Chef Mike.
Well, as being a two-year program, we start off with the first years coming in, really building a solid foundation on food safety and sanitation, understanding the flow of food and where that comes from. From there, what we'll do is we'll build some other structured curriculum with cooking methods, knife cuts, how food reacts in a pan, applying different methods of heat to different proteins and vegetables and fruits. We take and apply that to different grains, legumes, different shapes of pasta, and all of the different proteins out there, from poultry, beef, pork, dabble with some wild game. Second year program, the advanced students, they work more on a management philosophy where they're trying to build portfolios, resumes, working on scholarships, as well as applying advanced cooking methods going on as far as charcuterie, meaning making sausage and curing meats, different types of stuffed pastas and raviolis and things like that.
All right, awesome. So next question, Mr. Martin, we're going to start with you. You know, programs at Herndon Career Center are very different from that of a traditional high school. So how is time spent in the classroom between kind of traditional instruction, projects in lab, industry projects, classwork in a normal school year?
So our classroom time is kind of broken up into different segments, depending on what program or what software we are in for the moment. But at the beginning of the year, we all start off together during lectures and more of that traditional classroom setting where we're in front of a desk and a computer, working in our books and just learning. Once we start moving into client projects and more Software-based projects, it's mainly all lab work where I'll come in and give you brief discussion or instruction and help you along the way. But it all kind of varies on whatever project we're working on.
Okay, Ms. Miglitz?
So our class at the beginning is split about 50-50 on the clinical floor and half in the classroom. There's a lot of science and information behind why we do what we do and when we do what we do. And then as we move on closer to the second semester, more towards the end of the school year, we're looking at more of a 40-60, 30-70 split. Just kind of depends on how we're progressing on, where we're spending more time on the clinical floor and a little less time in the classroom. But due to state board standards and having two different tests, one is written and one is practical, that time needs to be pretty even to make sure the information is obtained in both of those areas.
And Chef Mike, lastly to you.
A lot of the same. You know, we'll start off in the classroom pretty heavy as we pile drive through food safety. It's a paramount standard in this class, so you gotta really understand it, embrace that. But from then on, we'll transition into the kitchen in different ways. You know, most of the days we are in the kitchen. We'll always start off in the classroom understanding objectives and some goals that we need to hit, maybe talk about things we could do from the day before a little bit better the following day. But yeah, we're pretty much hands-on, you know, 80% of the time as we apply and do in this class.
Excellent. So kind of shifting over, the goal of all of the programs at Herndon Career Center are to earn some type of industry recognized credential. So in your programs, what industry recognized credential can students earn, and how does this impact or how is this beneficial for their future? Mr. Martin?
So recently we have started to move into the Adobe Creative, the Adobe certification process, where our students can become certified experts in one of the Adobe softwares, which is a huge credential to have on your resume. So when you do walk into an interview or into post-secondary school, you will be above most of the other candidates because they've yet to take those tests / certify for those tests. And that's something that just put you above the rest.
Okay, and Ms. Miglitz?
So once you have obtained your 1,220 hours that you need for this state board, which is what we do all year long, is obtain those hours, you are eligible to sit for the Missouri State Board of Cosmetology license. And to benefit your future, that allows you to go in and work in any salon in the state of Missouri or apply for reciprocity in any other state in the United States.
And Chef Mike?
The certifications you can get in culinary arts are twofold. One would be over safety and sanitation. It's called ServSafe. That is a part of the articulation agreement that we have with almost every post-secondary culinary institution in the nation. The second is through the National Restaurant Association. It's called the Certificate of Achievement. That defines that you've hit a specific amount of competencies. You know and understand the ideas and the philosophy of what the foundation of what we teach here is like. The benefit for that is that you can go to Johnson County Community College, be able to skip out on potentially the first 7 credit hours. With Sullivan University, you could potentially skip out on the first 12 credit hours, which is, when you think about it, from what you're learning here to what you're going to get there, you're skipping out on a good chunk of your first semester. So the benefits are amazing.
That's actually a great transition to the next question. As every program has different outcomes for students, what are some typical post-secondary opportunities, and how does your program really help prepare them for that? Mr. Martin?
We have a bunch of post-secondary opportunities in the design and advertising world. We obviously have the traditional 4-year institution where you can go and get your bachelor's degree in graphic design or in fine arts with a minor in graphic design. There are also other opportunities at the junior college level where you can get your Associate of Arts with an emphasis in design and work from there. How I hope pursue this dream is being here at Herndon, we still have a lot of industry connections and college connections, and a big part of my class is working with instructors or people who are currently still in the field who work at the university level. For example, KU athletics is a big part of our program this year, and they help us out tremendously, and we build credits through them.
Okay, Ms. Miglitz?
So once they've received their license and they're able to go into an array of different opportunities, such as just being behind the chair, or maybe you're working as a product specialist or a platform artist to business owners. I have several students who have gone on to own their own business and are super successful, and they've only been out of school maybe 2-3 years at this point. So cosmetology is really what you make it. If you want to just do a little bit, you could do a little bit. If you want to see the world, you can see the world. It's all up to what you want to do.
Okay, thank you. And Chef Mike?
Yeah, well, for Culinary Arts, I think it's like most programs on our campus. You have the opportunity to go either way. You could transition into industry pretty seamless by taking 2 years into this program, or you could transition into post-secondary education pretty seamless as well. You know, I'll dangle that carrot in front of you for post-secondary education quite often throughout the years. We have these guys come in, talk to you, and be a part of our day on any given class time. But you know, for the most part, you know, I'd say most of my students end up in industry, and the ones that end up in college generally have very large scholarships that they've acquired to go and be a part of, you know, some of the elite culinary programs in the nation. So it's rewarding.
Excellent. So I think one thing that's true for all of our programs on campus is that students will come in with kind of a preconceived notion about what your program is about. So when you think about your curriculum in your class, what are some preconceived notions that students might have? Mr. Martin?
I think students walk into my program thinking this is like their other high school graphic design programs, or like their other graphic design classes they may have taken, where it's just out of a book or predetermined projects. One thing that separates my program from most is the fact that we mainly work with industry. I have a bunch of connections that are giving us real life projects and real life feedback and real time feedback. And I think they come into my program thinking this might just be a fun art class, when in actuality it is industry level and industry expectations.
Excellent. Ms. Miglitz?
So a lot of times you have students think that this is just fun and hair and nails all day, or I'm just going to pick that I'm going to do hair, I'm going to pick that I'm going to do nails, and that's all I'm going to focus on. When in reality, we're doing it all. And there's a lot of bookwork and science and chemistry and math behind everything we do. We have to know why we're doing it, when we're doing it, so that way our client leaves with hair on their head, the same way they came in. So maybe a little shorter, but we want to make sure that we know all the science behind it so that we can have our clients looking good.
Excellent. And Chef Mike?
I think a pretty common misconception about entering the program is that this is just an easy little cooking class. We're going to make cupcakes and cookies. And we may dabble in that from time to time for some fun projects for, you know, catering events. But, you know, we are going to learn an industry standard, and, you know, it's a little bit rigorous at times. I mean, the expectation is that, you know, you're doing and you're applying, and you're learning a craft and a skill that can take you anywhere in the world.
Excellent. So I know that all three of you really focus on industry partnerships. Can you give those watching a little rundown of how industry is integrated into your program and curriculum? Mr. Martin?
So like I've mentioned before, industry is a huge part of my program. We actually work basically from day one with our industry partners, and in projects, they give us real-time deadlines and projects in which they actually need projects done. One example is the Kansas City Comets. We work with them every year. This year we made their credentials and everything else like that. And it's fun for our students to see their work in the real world exposed to thousands of people at the arena or on a banner at a concert with Mix 93.3. So we get to work real time with all of our clients quite often.
Excellent. And Ms. Miglitz?
Yeah, so we invite industry professionals in to do mini classes and to partner with us for employment opportunity. At the end of the school year, we have those same industry partners come in and do career fair with us. So a lot of times our students leave with a job as long as they get their license. They're set to go right into industry and have a salon home waiting for them as soon as their license is completed.
Excellent. And Chef Mike?
Well, much of the same. Well, we invite a lot of industry professionals to come in for demos, maybe just to come and hang out, and work one-on-one and just kind of mingle with the students a little bit. I invite students to monthly chefs meetings with the American Culinary Federation. It's a great opportunity for them to go out, enjoy a nice dinner, network, meet other culinary students from around the city, as well as chefs that would potentially be in the market to hire them. Some of the guest speakers and the chefs that we have come in are alumni from the program, and it's really cool to see and for students to hear how they were sitting in maybe possibly the same chair and where that particular chef has evolved to and what they're doing as far as pastry or just running restaurants. It's a quick turnaround in this industry, and it's cool to see how that can be, and you can hear it firsthand from somebody that was formerly them.
Excellent. So we do have a question up in the chat, but I want to first kind of just gather some final thoughts after answering the questions. Do you have any final thoughts about some things people might want to know about your program, Mr. Martin?
We do work hard. We bring in a lot of industry, but at the end of the day, it is art. It is all subjective, and it is all personal. So we try to make it fun, and that is really what it comes down to. Art is still fun.
Excellent. And Ms. Miglitz, any final thoughts about your program?
Yeah, I mean, I think your questions covered a lot of things that we do. And just if you take the program and you take it serious, there's nothing to hold you back, and you will become a strong, successful, ready to work in industry individual.
All right, and Chef Mike.
Yeah, for me, when I came in from industry and into education, I never thought that, a student would contact me and tell me, what they're doing after they graduated, because I've never done that with any of my high school educators. And to get to know these some of these students that have, left this program and are doing amazing things, and seeing that they're working in 3 Michelin star restaurants in countries in Spain and Egypt and, Napa Valley. It's just amazing to watch what these guys are doing. When, I was like, I can remember when you didn't tie an apron, and now look at you, you're working in one of the most elite kitchens in the world. It's pretty remarkable to see what that evolves to, and how students can really embrace an opportunity while they're here 2 years in the program, and take them, to where they are now. It's really cool.
That's awesome.
Awesome. Well, thank all 3 of you for your time this afternoon. I'm going to go ahead and stop the recording for this. So if you're watching a recording of this later, thank you for taking the time. And we're going to go and take a couple live questions.